Many men out there are confusing two completely different concepts: chemistry and compatibility. You can meet a woman who brings you intense feelings unlike anything you have experienced before, an irresistible sexual attraction and exhilarating physical connections. But all of those things still do not guarantee that she has the foundation to become a long-term partner. Love, at a mature stage, is not just a feeling. It is a structure built on fundamental principles. At Femina Mind, we do not ask, "Is she attractive enough for you to pursue?" That question is too easy. We ask, "Does she have the internal structure suitable for building a long-term commitment?" There are unspoken laws in communication and behavior that no one writes down in a contract, but if they are broken repeatedly, then no matter how much you love her, that relationship will soon become a toxic burden. The crucial reframe you must remember: a woman is not a bad person just because she breaks these rules. She might be an exciting friend or a thrilling short-term partner, but she may not be relationship material. In the Femina Mind mindset, we do not measure a woman's value by the sweet promises she makes at the start of a romance. We measure it by her consistency over time. If fundamental principles are broken repeatedly, the problem no longer lies in your feelings for her. It lies in the nature and the value structure of the other person. Many men fail because they try to fix or teach their woman how to grow up. But the truth is, a person's character rarely changes just because they are loved. It only changes when they possess enough self-awareness and self-respect. Before diving deep into the 7 core rules, ask yourself, are you choosing a partner based on short-term moments of excitement, or are you looking for solid, raw material to build a future? If you have ever felt exhausted despite still being in love, perhaps you have overlooked these unspoken laws. In the analytical framework of Femina Mind, we do not look at outward appearances or temporary romantic gestures. We look at how a person operates when pressure arises or when the initial excitement fades. A person considered relationship material must possess character pillars that no amount of chemistry can replace. Let us dive deep into the first 3 rules defining a woman's stability. 1. The rule of basic respect. Respect is not something you demand. It is something that must be pre-coded into her conduct. She mocks you in front of others, uses sarcasm to belittle your competence, or constantly compares you to an ex or another figure to trigger your jealousy. Do not confuse this with a strong personality or bluntness. A woman who lacks minimal respect for her man, even when she is angry, is someone who lacks the moral structure to protect the relationship. Relationship material begins with understanding that respect is a red line. If she is willing to trample on your ego to satisfy a momentary emotion, she is not ready for any long-term commitment. If you believe that respect is more important than chemistry, leave a comment saying respect. 2. The rule of emotional accountability. This is the clearest measure of maturity. Always blaming circumstances, it is because of work pressure or a painful past. She never truly apologizes and only uses the word but or justifies every personal mistake by pointing at the faults of others. A long-term relationship will certainly have conflict. If she lacks the capacity for self-reflection, every argument will become an endless loop. You will always be wrong, and she will always be the victim. You believe that if you love her enough, she will automatically learn how to admit her faults. In reality, character rarely changes under comfort. If she does not feel the need to be accountable herself, you cannot teach her. 3. The rule of consistency. Consistency is the very definition of emotional safety. Being hot and cold without reason, saying one thing but doing another, or making many promises but following through on very few. Her energy depends entirely on the erratic mood of the day. Attraction can survive and even explode because of drama, but a relationship cannot. Without consistency, you will always be in a state of high alert, fearing which version of her you will face today. This instability will erode your masculine energy, making you lose focus on your life goals because you are too busy soothing unpredictable changes. Consistency creates trust. Without trust, a relationship is just a high-risk coin toss. You may notice that all three of these rules have nothing to do with how much she loves you. They have everything to do with who she is when love is not the primary influence. A woman suitable for the long haul must be capable of managing herself before she can manage a relationship. Right now, you might not feel decisive, just conflicted. Not because the situation is extreme, but because certain lines feel blurred. You're not sure whether you're holding standards or just being too rigid. And that internal debate can keep you stuck longer than you'd like. That confusion makes sense, because most rules in relationships aren't announced out loud. They're implied through behavior, tone, and repetition. Individually, each crossed line can seem minor, something you could forgive, reinterpret, or work through. So instead of stepping back, you lean in and try to adjust. But relationship standards aren't about control. They're about structure. Like the foundation of a house, you don't see it every day, yet everything rests on whether it holds. Or like guardrails on a mountain road, you rarely think about them until you notice they're missing. The issue isn't one mistake. It's whether the same boundaries keep dissolving without consequence. What matters here isn't whether she's perfect. It's whether the basic agreements that protect mutual respect remain intact. When someone repeatedly overrides shared expectations, and you respond by shrinking your own standards to preserve peace, that pattern becomes more telling than the behavior itself. And from here, the dynamic solidifies. Because what follows isn't about small disagreements, it's about whether the relationship has a stable frame at all. This is where many people confuse tolerance with compatibility. If you've ever questioned whether you're compromising or slowly lowering the bar, stay with me. 4. The rule of boundaries. In the Femina mindset, boundaries are not walls to lock others in, but rather the way a person protects the value of the relationship when the partner is not present. She flirts publicly or ambiguously on social media despite having a commitment to you. She keeps backup options under the guise of friendship. She intentionally ignores the boundaries you have clearly established. If a woman needs you to remind her about the most basic aspects of loyalty or respect, the problem is not a lack of knowledge. It is a lack of a clear definition of commitment. The right action. A woman suitable for building a future will adjust her behavior because she respects herself and the value of the relationship. You should not and cannot control someone who does not want to belong. If you have ever found yourself having to explain the obvious regarding boundaries, hit like. 5. The rule of transparency. Trust does not collapse because of one major event. It wears down because of tiny cracks. Hiding unnecessary information, lying about small things to avoid being questioned, or changing story details depending on the situation. At Femina Mind, we believe, how you do anything is how you do everything. A person who is dishonest at small levels is rarely trustworthy at greater ones. Transparency creates peace of mind for a man. If you must spend your energy playing detective, you no longer have the energy to lead. 6. The rule of shared values. This is where chemistry most often blinds us. She dismisses or mocks the things you value, such as family, career, or personal beliefs. She does not respect the way you build your life and constantly tries to pull you away from your goals. You can love someone with different hobbies, but you cannot go far with someone who has an opposing value system. If she does not respect the path you are on, she will sooner or later become the greatest obstacle on your journey. Relationship material is not just someone who loves you, but someone who believes in the values you represent. 7. The rule of effort. Reciprocity. A relationship is a two-way street, not a stage for one person to perform while the other watches. She only begins to invest affection or effort when she sees you are about to withdraw. She assumes you are the one who must always maintain the energy and initiative. She takes your sacrifice for granted. A sustainable relationship cannot exist if the balance of effort is skewed for too long. Reciprocity is a non-negotiable criterion. If you are the only one keeping the fire alive, you are not in a relationship. You are in an emotional charity project. If you believe that a real relationship requires initiative from both sides, leave a comment saying both. Do you see the common thread in these 7 rules? They all point toward peace of mind. A woman who is relationship material will give you the security you need so you can focus on conquering the world outside. If she constantly breaks these rules, she is accidentally turning herself into a battlefield that you must deal with every day. The hardest truth to hear is this: if you still choose to stay, still choose to forgive, and still choose to ignore after these rules have been broken repeatedly, then the problem is no longer hers. It lies in the standards you are willing to lower to avoid the feeling of loneliness. It lies in the fact that you are sacrificing your self-respect in exchange for a low-quality presence. In the psychology of status, no one can respect you in the long run if you do not protect your own core values. When you accept someone who breaks the rules of respect, accountability, and consistency, you are subcommunicating a message. I do not deserve better, so you can just keep going. Admitting that someone is not relationship material is not an act of judgment or belittlement. It is simply being honest with yourself. There are people born to walk with you through an emotional stretch of the road, but not everyone has enough material to build a sustainable home with you through the storms. And in the end, the point worth reflecting on is not simply whether she is relationship material. Human beings are not a checklist to be graded. The deeper issue lies here. When your core principles are broken repeatedly, do you still respect yourself enough to admit that this is not right for you? This is not about judging her. It is about not betraying your own values. Many people tell themselves that everyone has flaws and that they should be more tolerant or more flexible. And yes, maturity is knowing how to harmonize. But there is a massive difference between being flexible and erasing your own boundaries. When you continuously accept things that go against your life principles just to keep a relationship, you are no longer building a future. You are negotiating with your own insecurity. Walking away in that situation is not being harsh. Sometimes it is simply the clarity required to stop prolonging something that was never a fit to begin with. Femina mind does not exist to provide a rigid set of rules about women or love, nor is it to turn you into someone who nitpicks every small mistake. Femina mind is an observational mindset. It helps you recognize when the gap in values is too wide to ignore. It is a way to stay calm in the face of emotions that want to make you rationalize everything. And above all, it is the self-respect compass that reminds you that your standards are not a tool to control others, they are to protect your own future. Perhaps the question worth pausing on for a few seconds is not, does she meet the standards? Instead, it is, am I being honest enough to admit what truly matters to me? If you want, you can share your thoughts in the comments section, not to judge anyone, but simply to speak the truth about what you have come to understand. And if Femina Mind helps you maintain that clarity and dignity, you can stay and follow the channel. Not to find a perfect person, but to ensure you never trade away the principles that make you who you are.